It's Potter at fullback, Walford, Coyne, Bradley, Donnelly, Walker, Goldthorpe, Priddle, Brown, Tierney, Barnhill, Goulet and Mackay. Coach, of course, is Brian Smith. And that man played so strongly. Only just last Wednesday night, Neil Tierney. Now Mal Meninga brings the Canberra Raiders down from the dressing room area. And some of the big names, in fact, all of the big names lead them out. Meninga, then Daly, then Belcher and Stewart. And let's have a look at the full rundown of the green machine for tonight. Belcher, Mullins, Meninga, Wood. He goes in for Boyle. Hoppe, Daly, Stewart, Fritz, Walters, Lomax, Furner, Pongia and Croker. Coached by Timmy Sheens. And this Canberra side, they were very good at Newcastle on Wednesday. Greg McCallum is the man in charge of this game. Walker kicking off now. And down inside the 20-metre line at Stewart, who gets first touch of the ball, and Hoppe, the New Zealand winger, goes back for the Canberra Raiders.
Ray, I've tipped the Canberra Raiders to win this one, but I do think they'll have to be better than they were against Newcastle. There's some deficiencies in defence there. I think St George will capitalise on those if given the opportunity, and some errors in the game which were uncharacteristic of this Canberra team. They'll need to be a little bit better than what we saw last week.
Meninga. Stewart. Nice big kick, and Canberra, with the aid of a very big breeze in the first 2 quarters, that goes out over the dead ball line. And it'll come back to the 20-metre mark for the restart. It's early days, as everybody appreciates in rugby league, but right here we're going to get some kind of a guide as to whether or not Canberra is going to be a force this year. Many people are saying yes, they will be. This is Brown. Walters and Pongia closing the gap. Neil Priddle got some very good passes away on Wednesday night. Not all of them found their mark, but he gave the runners their chance.
And the opposite number 8 in the lineup, Ray, hasn't taken the field in the starting lineup. Paul Osborne is out there for number 18. And Darren Fritz is the player that started last week that is not in the starting 13.
Well, Osborne, of course, was a former St George player. And he left that club to make his way to Canberra. Stewart away for Matthew Wood, now to Daly, but they're a little bit cramped up there, Canberra, as Hoppe plays it. And a complete misunderstanding between Daly and Walters. We wouldn't see that happen with 2 players of such stature in the game too often. Here they are, Daly and Walters, not knowing what to do. So Canberra, with play now 30 metres out through Jason Croker. Stewart drops it onto the right foot, and again that will go down and over the dead ball line. So Ricky Stewart probably still measuring that wind.
It might be a little bit of a problem for Ricky Stewart with such a strong breeze. He does kick the ball so long anyway. It'll be quite difficult for him to stop them up. They have to resort to kicking for touch a fair bit. This is just given a possession away here. It does allow Canberra to get their defence set. It is an easy 20 metres back out from their own line for St George.
I know it was only a 20-metre tap, but I can't imagine why they'd let that young Nathan Brown take the tap and go up and meet the Canberra forward. Surely somebody could have offered to do it. He looked in vain, but nobody wanted the job. Goulet. Here's young Brown. Now Tierney. Barnhill. Oh, good play. Coyne. He gets towards halfway. Walford takes it down the ground, and he's put, I thought, into touch, but he stayed in the field of play. Good work. That was a nice rehearsed play there by the St George Dragons. This is Mackay. Brown to dummy half. Goldthorpe calls it. That's him. Now, This bomb will go up and come pretty much straight down. And it's marked by Andrew Walker. Flicks it out the back, picked up by Michael Potter. He flicks it out as well. It's scooped away off the ground by Priddle. It's gone out from Barnhill. Kicked by Coyne into the end goal. Walford's coming quickly. Stewart is there first, though.
That's a great play there by St George. Enterprising and exciting rugby league. The ball was in the air, and this breeze is so strong it actually came back, but Andrew Walker left the ground, went for the ball. And from there we saw the ball on the ground, a bit of mucking around, but finally it came to Mark Coyne. Now Mark Coyne had a couple of options. He could have passed it, but he decided to put the kick in. They got 3-on-2 out there, but he put the kick in into the end goal, and the good chasers put pressure on the Canberra defence.
Drop-out time from the goal mouth for Ricky Stewart. Bounces away from Potter. Walford has to go back hurriedly to bring it back off the line. Canberra will learn as they have to field the bombs in this match that it is a dangerous wind, really, for the bomb coming into your face. It can do anything up there as St George get the penalty from Greg McCallum. Andrew Walker's the man in number 6. He was one of the stars of Wednesday night. Chap to be taken 40 metres out from the Canberra line. Canberra's defence very compressed.
That's how compressed they are. The man on the left-hand edge of the corner is Sean Hoppe. They're covering less than half the field, Canberra.
Well, they're covering 30 metres. There's got to be ways around there.
Now, St George will probably look for the big ball, the wide ball. Goulet took it up, tried to take Barnhill with him, but it all went astray. And young Furner, he'll play the ball for Canberra. Daly tries to push away from Goldthorpe, but is wrestled down. 25 out from his own line, centre of the ground. That's Osborne in 18. And this is Croker, or it's Lomax, in fact. Now Stewart. Daly. Belcher into the back line. Mullins. Belcher. Stewart. He has slackened off on that one. He didn't put as much weight on it, Pete.
No, it was a lower trajectory as well, so he drove it in the nice torpedo, so when it hits the ground, it would sit up. And he probably wanted to kick it a little bit longer than that. Ricky Walford will get out of dummy half here, 35 metres out from his own line.
Just a touch better than that on the 40-metre line. Goldthorpe, here's Barnhill. Formerly with the Canberra side, so in actual fact, Osborne and Barnhill have done a switcheroo. But on Barnhill, I didn't think there was too many players better than him on Wednesday. Priddle across to Bradley. Now down the line goes Jason Donnelly and into touch.
Will it be a penalty? Greg McCallum, no, he hasn't. I thought it might have been a second tackling there. That's what we were talking about, getting outside this Canberra defence. Fortunately, they've got plenty of speed out there. Look at that. There's Sean Hoppe. He's the closest defender in. So there was a 2 or 3 man overlap. As I say, there's a lot of speed coming across.
But it is dangerous. When you play that compressed defence, as a lot of clubs are doing now, there's no room for error. And if one player makes an error, doesn't slide like he should, then there's trouble. Even then, they all defended perfectly, but St George still made 30 metres down the side. Interesting
to see out there for the Raiders. They've had a little bit of a positional change with Matthew Wood coming into the team. He's actually playing on the far wing, and Mullins is playing in the centres.
Walters. Stewart beats Walker. Walters again for Osborne. He turns it back into the middle. Walker comes up with the football. The referee McCallum rules a knock-on. Interesting, this ruling from McCallum. Watch Walker. He gets a hand to it. Then goes to ground with it. Then it spews out. I can't work out why Canberra couldn't have played on.
Why not the play on? He's a bit premature in his decision there, McCallum.
Daly.
He was a bit rusty the other night, but gee, he still looked very, very dangerous every time he touched the ball, Laurie Daly. I think he's shaping up for a magnificent season. It's been a shame that he's carried so much injury over the last couple.
Lomax turning the ball inside. This is Jason Croker. who's wearing number 13 these days. Of course, he was a winger. Now Stewart kicks for himself. Potter comes up, falls over, and it's left to Mark Coyne to clean up, but it's a penalty to Canberra. One of the Canberra players was held out of the attack by a St George player, apparently.
Well, David Barnhill is there. Let's have a look. Ricky Stewart seeing this no sweeper, puts the little one over, probably just a touch too deep. Potter comes through. Well, I don't know.
It's the other way around, isn't it?
Ricky Stewart's grabbed onto David Barnhill.
Well, see it from a different angle.
I mean, Barnhill's actually stopped to stop tripping over the to Mick Potter on the ground. I mean, that's a silly penalty to be given by McCallum. He's read that completely wrong, and it might cost St George 2 points.
You'd swear blind that Stewart took Barnhill out of it.
Well, that's right. He had every right to stop David Barnhill. As Paul Vaughton pointed out, he stopped because there was a fallen player, and he was in great danger of going over that. Ricky Stewart couldn't get to the football, so grabbed hold.
See, when they're chasing for the kick, Barnhill is not entitled to get out of the way. He's not entitled to do anything. He can take the running or stand there and not move if he wants. It was up to Stewart to get around him.
Well, now young David Furner will take this kick for goal from right in front. Timeout from McCallum. His very proud father, chairman of selectors Don, here in the crowd today watching young David. And every player out there, the kick, beautiful off the boot. Furner kicks the goal, Canberra grabs first points, 2-0 over St George. And Stewart gives it to Hoppe. Croker. This is Lomax. We brought him over from New Zealand, Lomax, and Tim Sheens is very happy with him. Meninga for Daly. Daly tries to get away from Bradley. Tierney comes in to help, and Daly's heading for the ground. Osborne. Stewart. Really taking it easy on that kick, Ricky Stewart. And still it was able to find the sideline with consummate ease. He's a beautiful kicker of the ball, Ricky Stewart, but this wind behind him, he doesn't really need it today. Now, it may have been touched in flight, this kick, so it will be a Canberra feed.
That's the way he signalled.
Let's have a look here.
Graham Bradley has dived. I don't know if he actually got a hand to it.
I don't think he did.
Ricky Stewart is getting the feed.
Well, Stewart's not going to complain. Daly, Meninga runs the decoy and Belcher puts it down, and St George come up with it.
And that's justice to me. The big fella upstairs, he knows the rules. And put a hex on Belcher there, who dropped it.
You think he plays a part in this game?
Oh, no doubt about it.
Scrum down on the St George 20-metre line. Goldtop works the scrum. They go to the blind for Mark Coyne, but Mal Meninga's there to pull him down. Queensland centres on a few occasions these days. Meninga and Coyne. Mackay. Oh, that is a good hit. You could hear the boys screaming it out. Good hit. And it was from Walters and Lomax. Now Goulet.
More so Lomax, the big shoulder charge. He had Steve Walters driving in underneath.
Brown away for Goldthorpe. Just had to check his pass. Big Tierney got in the road. Belcher has to hurry for that. Wrapped up by Donnelly.
Off him now. Chase, run.
Hoppe will take it away.
1-2.
Daly to dummy half. Stewart. Meninga out wide. That's the beauty of having Ricky Stewart in your back line. He can put the flankers outside you very, very quickly with the long ball. Osborne.
Hold.
Stewart. 2 decoys run back to the blind. Stewart picked up in defence by Goulet. Now from Croker for Furner. Furner's kick should find the line. Potter goes across fast, but that kick has crossed the line 8 metres out.
Very good kick from David Furner. Realised Ricky Stewart was playing the football, so took the responsibility onto his own shoulders. Came around from the blind side of the ruck, drove the ball. Got a good bounce. Michael Potter looked like half a chance of getting it, but finds touch 8 metres out from the St George line.
Temperatures here in the low to mid-30s, and I don't know that they be the conditions that blokes like. Oh, hello! Bit of a flare-up on the scrum. I think the young hooker Brown, the blonde-headed boy, he's been involved. And hello, here's a turn-up for the books. Paul Osborne goes in as a mediator.
Well, a former policeman, he's arrested Nathan Brown to keep him out of trouble here. There's plenty of blonde hair flying, so you know the little hooker was involved. Let's just try and work out how this...
Steve Walder's got the Australian jumper.
Yeah, well, Steve Walters has gone through with a little bit of a headbutt there. I'm not saying that he didn't have the right to. He may well have been trying to pack into the scrum. Nathan Brown certainly reacted. Did get hit with the forehead, and the penalty has gone Brown's way. There it is, the signal.
Oh well. Little midget Farrelly gets the penalty.
And might also be just welcome to first grade scrummaging.
Anyway, good luck to him. He's drawn a penalty for his team. Donnelly goes towards the centre of the park, 30 metres out.
I reckon Brian Smith can't wait to get his side at quarter time and just explain to them about this Canberra defence. Now, this is new to most of us. I haven't seen them play this compressed defence ever, Canberra. And Brian Smith will be coming out with tactics, no doubt, at quarter time for them to get around the outside of their defence.
Penalty goes to St George. Priddle gets up, walks away, laughs at Daly and says, serves you right. It was a corker of a tackle from Daly. But then he wouldn't let Priddle up and brought the penalty. Watch the tackle. This is a copybook rugby league tackle. Under the rib cage with the shoulder, driving with the legs, and down goes a man twice as big as you.
Yeah, so Tony Priddle's he's a fine player. I just prefer if he walked away, like didn't even smile in those situations. Don't get caught up with that. Keep your concentration going. Just cop the penalty and get in position to hit up a ruck.
Donnelly.
And Phil Blake's just gone on for Andrew Walker in the 5/8 role.
Goldthorpe away for Blake now, and St George, you can see them, they are prepared to throw the long ball to try and get around this defensive pattern, this narrow, it's almost a narrow cast of defence from Canberra. 2 passes and you're outside it.
Yeah, but you've got to be careful, selective when you use those 2 passes. You've got to put a dent in the middle early, get a quick play of the ball and then throw it out. Otherwise, they'll just slide and slide. Here they're going wide now. Goldthorpe decides to kick through. Belcher will let that one go over. It looks very attractive to go around straight away, but you've got to do a little bit of work beforehand, a little bit of homework.
So we've got a scrum to pack, 12 metres out from the Canberra line. 2-0 in favour of the Raiders, a penalty goal to David Furner. A penalty that we all agreed should have gone the other way. We all agreed, with the exception of Greg McCallum. Belcher. Don't forget, this Canberra side has still got Bradley Clyde to come back. Probably after a few rounds of the premiership. Osborne. 2-0 the Raiders. David Furner steps off his left foot, gets outside the 30-metre line. Furner and Tierney having words now as the play goes out to Jason Croker. On the 5th, he's brought down. Where's Stewart? There he is. Shorter kick off the left foot. And Potter carries it back. And Meninga absolutely monstered. It was Lomax who monstered Potter.
Who's still down.
Belcher throws the dummy inside. Tries to go himself. Flick passes and Hoppe's gone to sleep on it.
Well, he did go to sleep too. His first tackle, a big hit from Lomax from Michael Potter bringing the ball back. Meninga was there as well. Oh, look at that. It's a great shot.
And went on with it.
Following that, we saw Belcher doing some nice work, but Sean Hoppe, even though I think he's done marvellously well in a short period in Sydney football, he dead set. He went into a period of rest there. Dummy half is Bradley. Used to play with Penrith. Giant of a man. Could prove valuable for St George. Brad Mackay with no marker. Picks up 15 metres. Good work by Mackay. Brown away, blindside for Blake. Blake tries to get it inside. That's off the feet. Potter gets it away, does he, to Walford? No, it's Canberra with the ball.
Bad luck for Phil Blake. He's run a couple of times. He's still got all the dash we all knew he had years ago. And there's the quarter-time signal.
So at quarter-time in the fourth quarter, Nambucca heads as St George kick off to start quarter number 2. And bringing the ball back for Canberra is Jason Croker. The Raiders leading at quarter-time by 2 points to 0. A penalty off the boot of David Finn. Meninga now. 28 metres out from his own line. Lomax down to the 40-metre line. Walter's a dummy half. Here's Stewart, straight onto the right foot this time. Bouncing, and then Potter goes across and recovers just into the field of play. Walford folds back to help the fullback and the captain. Saints back to the 20-metre line. Donnelly. Priddle. Oh, that was a good tackle there by the number 12 from Canberra, Quentin Pongia. Barnhill loses possession. Stewart tries to recapture. He does. Stewart will play it just into St George's area.
He's come up with some big hits. John Lomax. There's another one on David Barnhill, giving Canberra possession 38 metres out. Ricky Stewart organising his troops outside.
Lomax takes it back now in attack. Furner rushes away from one and then is pulled down by a desperate Brad Mackay. Stewart. Belcher. Lets Croker go. Finds Daly. Daly turns Meninga inside. And the big bloke goes on a steamrolling run. Now Croker goes to ground 20 metres out. Daly. Stewart. Long ball for Gary Belcher. Tries to kick. Doesn't get a clean shot at it. And Goldthorpe is the man that's got the ball. Donnelly. Mackay. Barnhill.
Been impressed with both of those players, the marker Paul Osborne and David Barnhill. Their respective teams have worked very hard. Of course, for Canberra, Osborne has come in, put Darren Fritz onto the bench, and he's looking as trim at the beginning of a season as I've ever seen.
Blake's kick will be gathered up by Belcher. Uses Matthew Wood. So the first tackle comes just outside the 20-metre line. Hoppe. The thing about Osborne that I guess Tim Sheens has been working on is to teach him to stay on the field. Matthew Wood.
In what way, Ray? More of a work rate, or?
Oh no, I'm talking about discipline. No, I mean, he has been known to get into a few incidents that has seen him either in the sin bin or sent from the field of play.
We actually spoke to Tim Sheens last week at Marathon Stadium as Canberra pick up Sean Hoppe. Good work from Mullins coming around.
Mullins now. Bradley chases. Mullins tries to go in and away, but he can't. 35 metres out from the Saints line.
And he's lost the ball, so St George with possession. Goulet's down the sprint down the blind side. And well tackled by Krager.
Mackay for Goldthorpe, and now Priddle. Potter's coming with him. Tries to pop it away. Down and away from Stewart. It's with Lomax. Lomax. He might have himself a very handy colt in the shape of Lomax down at Canberra. He said, you watch him, he said he's very impressive. Never played at this weight before. Can't believe how fit he is.
As he adjusts to the Sydney game, he's come from Wellington or Auckland or somewhere. As he adjusts to the Sydney game, he'll only get better too.
This is Osborne doing some good stuff. You were going to make a point about him, Pete.
Just the biggest concern from Tim Sheens was the work rate, was that he tended to fade out of a game late, so he's looking for more of an 80-minute performance.
Meninga away. Stewart holds it on the fingertips, then gives it for Daly. Daly kicks into the end goal. Here's some pressure for Potter. No, it goes in touch in goal. So, Potter will bring it out towards the 22. Daly just peppering St George with something different, this time rolling it into the end goal. 2-0 in favour of Canberra. Tooheys challenge in its fourth quarter final. Barnhill has come from the field and Hardy goes on. Elliott goes on. Brown comes off. So Elliott will go to hooker. Hardy will go into the second row. Gee, he's got a strong bench, Brian Smith, hasn't he?
Yes, St George's club with great depth. You can bring the players of the calibre of Matthew Elliott, most underrated player. He's a great player, as a matter of fact, and Jeff Hardy into your side off the bench. It all goes well for a good season for them.
Priddle. Mackay. Set forward play. Goldthorpe. Tierney out wide. Now the long ball by Tierney. Donnelly brushes away from Hoppe's tackle, then for Bradley, now for Tierney and for Goldthorpe, and this is Hardy. 3 metres into Canberra's area. Goldthorpe. That may go out on the full. Oh, does it? What? It's ended up in the mezzanine stalls. Well, they're not quite mezzanine stalls, but they're quite nice up there.
Oh, they're lovely seats. Look at them. Dirt.
We saw there the danger for St George in trying to promote the football wide without it really being on. The wide pass from Neil Tierney. It was intercept material at one stage there. Be a little bit careful of that one. See that one there? There's Sean Hoppe. If he'd have gone going, it'd have been half a chance. But it was a 3-on-3 situation.
Daly scurries away. Meninga comes back. Stewart goes the other way. They're running crisscrosses here.
Yeah, and they lost a metre.
Stewart to play it on the halfway mark.
Oh, Ricky Stewart has just hit Mark Coyne with a swinging right arm. I think it's Coyne who came up with the tackle. Yes, I'm sure it is. This will show up fairly well. You see the swinging right elbow. There's the tackle. Mark Coyne trying to push him over the sideline. He holds him down, and there it is there, whack.
Well, Stewart got involved in a fracas the other night at Newcastle of similar proportions, didn't he?
Well, he's a testy type of player. He gets excited with his football. He likes to get heavily involved, and he's got a few niggling little things in his game which Tim Sheen should try and get out of him.
Mackay. Well, you've both played against him. Has he always been like this?
Yes.
I never had too many problems with Ray as Graham Bradley steps inside. Good support.
And he gets a good ball away for Blake, who goes inside the 20-metre line. Elliott's the dummy half. St George are wide. Goldthorpe, the long ball for Mackay. Mackay tries to get under the tackle of Lomax, but he's pulled down by Pongia. The New Zealand connection. Now Goulet runs it up to the line, picks up Elliott. Elliott's brought down. Oh, that was a try-saving tackle by Belcher. Away from Bradley for Goldthorpe. Tierney goes inside. Goldthorpe, what happened to him? Was he taken out of the play?
No, he tripped over somebody lying on the ground. Unfortunately, even the St George player backing up nearly scored the try. But Goldthorpe rolled one through. It went under a Canberra player. And I'm sure Noel Goldthorpe actually trips over that player. Well, Ricky had the hand up, but I still think he tripped.
Big effort by Tierney. He hurdled a couple of Canberra players to get almost a touchdown. 15 goes on for Canberra, Jason Deeth. So the Saints will come back and hit them with another 6 shots now. Ooh, that was close. Belcher saved a try.
We've got Michael Potter and Scott Goulet 60 metres downfield waiting for this one. That's the strength of the breeze. 55 metres on the fly.
Potter. Wrapped up by Mal Meninga. In fact, it was Lomax. Just if you can't see their numbers, they're a bit hard, Meninga and Lomax. For obvious reasons. Elliott, Goldthorpe, Goulet. Here's a blindside rush. Donnelly can't take it. It was a bad pass for him.
Shocking pass. They're trying to get it to Donnelly. Donnelly's reputed to be one of the quickest players in the game. But they're lacking the numbers out there. No use throwing the cutout to him. They've got to get some numbers inside him to draw some crabs off him.
Callum, wide for sound. Hoppe almost through, couldn't get it away for Belcher. Now they keep it going through Jason Deeth. Gets away from Potter the first time, doesn't the second, then Barnhill rattles him up with a big tackle. And the referee wants to see him.
Ex-Canberra player, of course, David Barnhill, being told by the referee to keep it down. Jason Deeth stepped back inside, making some good ground up the middle.
Watch this, watch this.
He has got him up fairly high, hasn't he?
He certainly did.
Jason Deeth thinks so.
Stewart taking the penalty, and look at this kick. Way up into the up into the grandstand area or the training shed area. So Stewart calling the shots, telling them what play he wants. 19 for Canberra is Corvo, 10 metres out from the line. The Raiders now with Stewart turning it for Fritz. Still they're 10 to 11 metres out from the line. Lomax takes play number 3. Goulet's got him on the end of a good tackle together with Elliott. Stewart a dummy half, and this is the 4th tackle coming up. Put down by Pongia. And it will be a scrum 9 metres away from the line. 2 points to 0 in favour of Canberra. Scrum being fed by Noel Goldthorpe. Blake. Goldthorpe. Hardy. Priddle. Elliott away. Short pass for Hardy. To the halfway, and they made that ground fairly easily, all through the forwards. Goldthorpe keeping it low, and the skimming bounce off the park here at Nambucca finds the line 18 out. So a reasonably big crowd at Nambucca enjoying this Tooheys Challenge doubleheader. There's those mezzanine stalls I was talking about earlier. Stewart away. Belcher standing up at 5'8". Jason Deeth plays it. Fritz was supposed to be in the run-on side, Darren Fritz, but as we pointed out earlier, Paul Osborne made the run-on team. This is Mark Corvo.
In the past, we've been a little bit critical of Scott Goulet's work rate as Laurie Daly shakes the kick. He's come up with some magnificent front-on defence. Driving the shoulder in. Here he comes up now to try and charge a kick down. Stewart gets another good kick in. Will he find touch?
I'll tell a man he will. It crosses the line just 2 metres away from that corner post. He can save so much energy and so much ground for his team coming.
I think the word we're looking for when describing Ricky Stuart is competitive. He's one of the most competitive players that in the game today. And I think he's exciting to watch, especially when he runs the football. When he drifts across the field looking for support so he can throw a good dummy, he's even better.
Canberra giving Croker some time off, and also 2 others. Lomax has come off and Pongia has come off. So wholesale changes to the Canberra team by Tim Sheens as St George run it out through Tony Smith. Brad Mackay turns on, bad pass infield. You don't expect that from blokes like Brad Mackay. It's gone away out from Daly to Stewart. Meninga tries to come back. He gets back to the 20-metre line. Now Osborne. Deep. Walters, Stewart, long pass. Daly's with it. Daly cuts back into the centre. Flops the pass over. Corbo's got the ball, but he's held up by St George defence. Walters to dummy half again. Through Stewart with Daly. Puts the grubber in behind. Walford goes back and forces it. So Canberra will get the football back, leading by 2 points to 0.
Yeah, nice work by Daly, but there was an opportunity then for Daly to throw that ball. Unfortunately for him, his outside supports weren't deep enough, just about shaking hands with the St George defence. Now, if they want to give themselves an opportunity to score, they've got to stand deeper.
Goldthorpe. The line dropout, just telling his troops where he wants them. And the drop kick not going to find much distance. Hoppe will get it back to the 20-metre line. Taken by Hardy and by Smith. He didn't quite do that well. He's on the 25 mark. Now Fritz, running very powerfully, takes it inside the 20. Stewart now calls for it on the open side. He's got the ball. Cut-out pass for Daly. Daly out for Wood. Bradley on Wood. Hoppe goes inside, tries to break over the 20. Pulled down by Smith in number 16, Bradley in 4. Daly finding now young Furner. He gets a good pass out. Jason Death takes it up to the 10-metre line. Brown is back on for the Saints. Away now from Walters to Stewart, and now for Daly. Belcher runs the decoy, and Daly's pass is fallen on over there, only just inside the touchline as it comes away now from Stewart. It's with Osborne, and referee McCallum ordering the turnover. There was a knock on there on the final tackle. I was just trying to think of a player's name on the far wing. It's Fulavai.
I think Ricky Stuart trying to keep the ball alive there, threw one forward as well. It broke down for Canberra. Good pressure from St George coming through to thwart any kick from Stewart.
This is magnificent St George defence. It's almost mechanical, up and down and back and up we go again. Very committed defence, and Coach Brian Smith can be very proud of them.
Now they hit the blind side with Jeff Hardy.
Ricky Stuart in some trouble in back play, carrying his left shoulder. Now running back to join his teammates there. You see him just coming back into the field to play.
Priddle.
You could even hear the call from here from the Canberra defence. Over the top, wrap the arms up. They know that he's a danger man. Beautiful pick-up from Noel Goldthorpe. Gets a nice kick in as well.
I don't think Stewart's going to be able to continue. He's down in terrible pain with that left shoulder. And the trainer has now got to him.
We see Stewart down around the legs. Well, a fair grimace of pain there. I don't know whether it's the shoulder or the top of the arm. Maybe a cork in there. Very painful things. Well, how come Phil Blake is carrying the ball here? Noel Goldthorpe kicked for touch. I didn't see it touch by any of the Canberra players.
Behind the line.
Potter. Bradley. Potter. Wrapped up by Gary Belcher operating in the front line. Goulet. Now for Hardy. Hardy pinches a few more metres. Mark Coyne goes for the gap. Loose ball, and McCallum gives Canberra the penalty.
The St George players appealing there for one of the Canberra players for raking the ball out. Laurie Daly was involved in the tackle. You see the breakman up the middle. There's Laurie Daly pushing the ball down. It's gone the other way.
Well, he's ruled officially that Brown was offside and given the penalty to Canberra. So the tap to be taken by Steve Walters. And Corvo takes it up and over the halfway line. Strong run by the youngster. Walters turns it back into the centre for Fritz. Now Stewart. Belcher. They stack the blind side. Daly. Wood. Flick pass for Hoppe. Razzle-dazzle stuff there by Canberra.
A good defence by St George. They were caught short and they drifted sideways to nullify any advantage Canberra had as the ball goes wide and Mal puts it down. Well, he's not happy, the big fella.
No, and he had a player doubling around to try and force an overlap out of that. Mel's hands let him down on that occasion. A couple of wide passes once again. Wide ball out to Mal Meninga. There you'll see, I think it's in the background, Jason Deeth going around. Made a 2-on-1, but the ball had gone to ground.
Blake, he's the last man to end with the ball. So Canberra kicks off now to start the third quarter. They lead by 2 points to 0. And now they start the climb uphill as far as the breeze is concerned. The Saints getting their first use of it, and Mackay is the first player tackled. Brown going to the right before trying to put Barnhill up the centre, and Barnhill is able to gain about 5 or 6 very hard metres. Brown again. This is Tierney. Tierney bumping his way between players. The ball goes to ground. He had a chance to put it on the chest of Tony Priddle, but it's gone forward and the scrum is to pack down.
There's some good work here from Neil Tierney getting around the back here. Well, it just popped out a bit low for Priddle. Cleaned up by Andrew Walker there. Good start by St George. They made a couple of busts in some pretty ineffectual defence early on.
Scrums are level. Canberra now using Daly and Meninga. Meninga right on the halfway mark. Through the centre goes Croker. Lomax turning it for David Furner. Stewart, Daly, Meninga. Daly on the run round. Belcher cuts back inside, tries to go up the centre. Young Brown and Coyne shut him down. 25 metres out from the line. Canberra probing now. Long ball from Stewart. Finds Pongia. Now Hoppe. Hoppe gets around Donnelly. Pursued by Bradley. They won't catch him. Oh, tremendous effort by Sean Hoppe. He's run right around them.
Well, this is unbelievable play from Sean Hoppe. A great try, great winger's try. He got the ball. There was nothing doing whatsoever. A nice big pass here. Stewart sends one out. And it goes out then. And Hoppe gets it. Pongia gave it to him straight around Donnelly and Graham Bradley. 1-on-2, and he beat them with pure pace.
Yes, and it was an ordinary play from Jason Donnelly. He actually got stood up. You see the long ball. Meninga comes inside the long ball. Hoppe takes the ball. As we freeze it there, this man here, Jason Donnelly, stood still. That allowed Hoppe to do the in and away. And Donnelly may have plenty of speed, but he couldn't match it with Hoppe once he had to restart again. As Paul Borton pointed out, he turned a try from nothing.
Try scorer Sean Hoppe. He's only been in Sydney League, to the best of my knowledge, this is his second year. And I made the comment earlier, he's taken to it so quickly. That was an outstanding winger's try. And keep in mind that he scored the try getting outside Donnelly. Jason Donnelly, people are saying, is probably the fastest man in league. Now, Furner at 6 points to nil from 21 metres out into the breeze, and it won't have the length. 6-0 in favour of the Raiders over the Dragons.
And really, if Jason Donnelly had have kept coming up in defence, I don't think Hoppe would have been able to get around him. You'll see, as Hoppe there, he stopped Jason Donnelly. You just can't restart and chase a man of Hoppe's speed. If he'd have come straight through and kept going on defence, there was no problem for St George.
This is Physicality. I believe he's got a background of rugby union down in the Australian Capital Territory. Play by Pongia. Osborne goes up and reaches the 30-metre line. Stewart runs the decoy for Walters. Walters almost through.
Bad marker defence. Both the St George markers went the other way. He threw the dummy, Steve Walters. That's a sign of no communication, Peter, isn't it? The front marker and the back marker have got to keep talking.
Potter.
The onus once again comes back to the back marker as well. He's got the best view from deeper back. He's generally the person who will push and tell the front marker which way to go. In that case, as Paul pointed out, no communication, but again, the back marker, the onus is on him to direct what's happening in that area.
Walker. He really left a mark on that match on Wednesday against Eastern Suburbs. We haven't seen all that much of Andrew today, not that he's been out there all day. Goldthorpe. Off the back of Mal Meninga, towed ahead by Coyne, then he runs into a Canberra player.
Mark Coyne has run into Mal Meninga and come out second best. He was chasing there. Mal stood his ground, and Mark Coyne, there's the kick from Goldthorpe. It comes off Mal. Here comes Mark Coyne. There's Mal. Bang. Thank you.
Well, he's given the feed to Canberra. I've got my sincere doubts that it in fact should be St George feeding it. After it struck Coyne on the legs, it definitely came in contact with a Canberra player. Anyway, Stewart plays the ball 30 metres out. Furner, and McCallum gives a warning here to Brad Mackay and a penalty to Canberra. Well, this must be for the tackle being high. Let me have a look at it with you. Yeah,
hit the rule is now, you can probably tell us the rule, Rose, but they hit the shoulder and it goes up. Anywhere around the shoulder, it goes up around the neck. Even if it's not malicious, it's still going to be pulled up.
So the tap to be taken by Walters. Lomax. Pongia.
There's no big pardons in these two Kiwi players for Canberra. Lomax and Pongia, they really put their body on the line.
Here's a chance. Daly couldn't get a clean pass away to Hoppe. Had he have been able, I'm sure there could have been some real danger moments for St George. Osborne is tackled 35 metres out. Daly, Meninga drops it onto the right foot. Chance here for Canberra. Daly was alert. Goulet. Well, how quickly did Canberra regroup then?
And how slow was St George not to capitalise on that? They all stood around looking at each other.
Goldthorpe. Walker. Bradley.
Good work here from Laurie Daly. Mal gets an ordinary kick away. There's Daly coming across. He knew that there was going to be danger there. Came up with the important tackle.
Daly, the long ball for Stewart. Holds it back, and it's gone behind Physicality. And he's only just cleaned it up, but he's knocked on. So here's a good chance for the Dragons now.
This is the chance that St George have been waiting for. They haven't had many opportunities down the Canberra quarter. This is an ordinary pass from Stewart. Physicality should have cleaned it up there, but knocked it on. Good pressure by Ricky Walford on him.
Elliott goes on. Young Brown comes from the field of play.
And Phil Blake has also gone on for Andrew Walker.
Saints winning the scrum. Mackay picks it up at the back of the scrum, and He really got dealt with there by Croker and Meninga. Now Goldthorpe, cut out ball across the face for Potter. Big Bradley's with it. Back for Blake. Blake tries to do it himself, and he can, I'll tell you. He can turn nothing into something very real. Elliott pushing Barnhill back into the corner. They're only 5 metres from the line. Sloppy played the ball. Goldthorpe, Tierney. Tierney still about 5 out from the line. Elliott goes for the line. Held up. Short.
The ball's got to come right. St George, a huge deep backline set.
Goldthorpe. Blake. Now Goulet. Goulet turns it for Potter. Flicks it out the back. Picked up by Mackay. With Goldthorpe. Now Coyne. Pops out the back, and that's where it ends. Canberra, superb in defence. Played by Hoppe.
Superb in the fact that when the ball went past the Canberra players, it kept coming back up on the inside. You see the ball came out wide, and back on the inside, the Canberra players are still coming across, coming up and in to cover anything St George have got. And in the end, they forced the mistake. St George desperate on the 6th tackle.
Meninga working on a narrow blindside with Croker, Stewart, Osborne. 5 metres on their side of halfway. Canberra leading by 6 points to 0 as Stewart puts in a raking kick. Potter brings it back off the 10. Stewart leads the chase down the ground. This is Donnelly. How he would love to run around Sean Hoppe and score for the Dragons. Walford. Elliott. Goldthorpe. Blake. Priddle. Canberra have done well to contain Priddle. He hasn't been able to pop more than maybe 1 or 2 passes in the entire game. They tackle him and make sure they shut down the ball. Blake kicks in general play. Belcher's there, 25 out from his own line. St George defends on a good chase down the ground that time. Fullerby, Daly, Hoppe. Ponji. Walters away for Stewart, now through the hands of Death, and it's with Ferner. Now Meninga back, and it's a Jason Death again.
Well, we've got a penalty here. Going to St George.
What should they do? Have a shot at goal, Sterlo? Well, it's only 6-0, and it's 40 metres out of Gale at their back. Well, I'd be having a shot at goal. Got to have confidence in your goal kicker, whether it be Ricky Walford.
Well, I wish they'd do something.
No, they're going to put it out.
$6-0, and there's probably 25 minutes at least of football remaining. And that was right in front from 40 out. They would have made it dead had they have failed. Priddle reaching the 20-metre line. They worked the blind. Elliott's one of them. He's in possession. Coyne was with him, and so was Walford. Brown now to dummy half, and Canberra neatly tying the ball up for a long period of time. Thus a slow play the ball, and Goulet, he had a long look at the defence. Stewart puts it on the boot. Saints have got the football. 6 more, says referee McCallum.
Should have dived on the football the second time, Ricky Stewart.
Mark Coyne tries to splice between the Canberra defence.
You see the ball going to ground. Stewart gets the first one away. He's held back a little bit there. Was only just going to have enough pace to get onto that. Should have gone down on it, kept possession.
Goldthorpe Blake, Hardy out very wide. Priddle was even wider. Very close to a Shepherd called.
And a very bunched St George team there.
Well, look at them now. All bar two of them, you could throw a handkerchief over them. Barnhill plays it 30 metres out on the last tackle. Goldthorpe, long ball for Elliott. They must score. Players left and right. Blake puts it down. Well, they took the option to go for the try rather than the 2 points, and it's come off for them. They've got 4 and possibly more to come.
This is a beautiful long pass from Goldthorpe. Passed it out wide. Mal Meninga, the player at fault there. Elliott into a huge hole. Support both sides and very easy. Phil Blake, a great finisher.
We said they were very bunched, St George, and they were bunched on the blind side. They had numbers. The last tackle, it's always a good option to run the football. Mal Meninga's the man. As we freeze it there, Mal Meninga is coming across. He's allowed that to open up. Plenty of St George players there. Meninga, well, he's beaten on the outside by Elliott. Had a choice of plenty of players. He's got Walford on the outside, Goulet, Blake. Finally, Phil Blake plants the ball down.
I just might ask, what was Brett Mullins doing way back there as well? He's the winger, and as soon as he saw that ball being thrown out, he should have come back up into the line.
Well, I actually think Jason Croker was playing out on the wing on that situation. So they're moving players left, right and centre here. And that might throw him out a little bit. But certainly Mel was the man who got caught, and he's laying down the law for them behind the line.
Well, this is a strange one. Noel Goldthorpe can kick, don't get me wrong. But Ricky Walford is on the field. As Goldthorpe strikes it, the breeze not working on it the way he wanted. But we've got a scoreline of Canberra 6, St George 4. David Fern kicks off with his team leading 6 points to 4. David Barnhill is on a carry-back mission to the 20-metre line.
There must have been something severely wrong with the Canberra defence then, because, not coming to Mal's defence, but St George had 6 players running at 2 on that blind side. So what were the rest of the Canberra players doing? Being lazy and not reading the attack.
Also maybe a little bit lazy with it being the last tackle. I don't think it's an option that we see enough in the game at the moment, running the ball on the 5th. If it breaks down, somebody's got to get their foot to the ball. On that occasion, maybe Canberra expected the kick, and they were fooled by the fact that Noel Goldthorpe kept things going down the blind side as Nathan Brown capitalises on some poor marker defence from Canberra.
Lovely take there by Croker, who is out on that left wing at the moment. Mullins is playing at full back. So Gary Belcher's on the bench. And here's the kick on replay. Kept low, but he took it well, Croker. Walters looks for the second man play, and Lomax. Through the hands of Stewart, Daly and Meninga, but back across the ground now for Matthew Wood. Hoppe's on his outside. He's pulled down 18 metres away from the St George line. Canberra are very wide and deep to the left. Here they come with the long ball. Daly goes to the line. Then Brett Mullins grabs it, the ball, but it goes to ground.
I don't think the ball was intended for Mullins. He was looking for Croker, the very widest man. St George now working it out. You said that Canterbury will line deep. The Canberra will line deep to the left. So was the St George defence. Here's Laurie Daly. I think this is meant for the 13. Mullins put the hands up.
Penalty to St George. 6-4 in favour of the Raiders. Well, he's penalised the Canberra markers for being all over the man playing the ball. I think Canberra felt that St George should have been penalised for hands in the play the ball. But he's gone for the original breach, which was the marker cannot touch the bloke playing the ball. He shouldn't be all over him. Goldthorpe. This is Blake stepping off that left foot, beating Furner, but not beating Jason Deet. Brown, Goldthorpe, Barnhill. Barnhill gets rid of Lomax, turns it wide for Bradley. Bradley looks around for somebody to run off him. Why he wasn't pumping the big legs and keeping it going, I don't know. Brown for Goldthorpe. Now Blake thinking about what he's going to do on the next play. Goulet. Donnelly. Brown. Blake. Blake half sees a hole. Shut by Canberra. 6 more. Oh, hang on a second. It's Canberra with the ball. Daly. Oh, here's a chance for the Dragons. Bradley. He's in pursuit with 2 forwards. But Corvo, he didn't clean it up. Bradley puts it down. Is he going to give a try or not?
Sure.
Short of the line, is he? Played by Bradley. Hardy. 2 metres out from the line. Can the Dragons get it over? Elliott for Goldthorpe. Smith, Goldthorpe. Goldthorpe puts it down. The Dragons are in front now.
Great pressure by the Dragons. The mistake came from Canberra down the other side of the field where they dropped the ball, and it was towed through a race for the line. And from there, St George, very smart football. They threw this ball out wide, back on the inside. The Canberra players hadn't read it, didn't come across. There's the big hole there. Steve Waller's got there too late.
Yeah, Steve Waller was the man who was having a little bit of a rest there. They'd been under a lot of pressure. They got the ball when Corvo went over the top. It looked like Bradley had scored. Play comes out. As we freeze there, that's Noel Goldthorpe. Look at the gap. This is Steve Walters coming into play now, much too late. And a very easy run to the line as play continues. Walters, much too late. Should have been there 30 seconds earlier.
Goldthorpe will attempt conversion of his own try. Played a vital part. He gave the pass to Tony Smith, and then he backed up on the inside in case required. Third quarter siren has sounded as Goldthorpe prepares to convert his own try. Hooks it too much. No goal. And they're points that could prove very valuable as we go to the break at the end. Now we're going into the final 20 minutes of this quarter-final. St George leading Canberra by 8 points to 6. David Barnhill brings it back 15 metres out from his own line.
Yes, and St George going in a distinct advantage, a couple of points up into this final 20 minutes. I just had a look at that last try during the third quarter break. I was a little bit overcritical maybe of Steve Walters. In fact, Brett Mullins didn't help him that well. He did not come out off the line, went straight into the second line of defence when he really needed to go forward. There were a few Canberra players at fault, not just Steve Walters on that occasion.
Played by Barnhill. Goulet takes it up through the centre. Plenty of traffic in there. Eventually Walters over the top. And Brown gives it away for Goldthorpe. This is Walker. And it's obvious just watching the changes that Brian Smith has made. That's a lovely kick by young Walker, finding the line 2 metres out. But the point I was going to make, it's obvious that Brian Smith hasn't got more than a struck match between Andrew Walker and Phil Blake.
I've been very impressed with what Phil Blake's done out there today. He's been heavily involved in most things St George have done. He's trying things, and he's been at plenty of clubs, Norths, Manly, Souths, with Canberra last year, as a matter of fact. Now he's back at Saints.
Canberra winning the scrum. Daly, just a handoff for Meninga. He's been relatively quiet today, Meninga. Lomax. Osborne. Still anybody's game. You can never, ever write off the green machine. They can hurt you from anywhere. Daly, Meninga. Lomax. Stewart, bad pass. Stewart decides to run the football now. Turns it inside, it was forward. Kicked ahead by Croker. I think McCallum's only playing the advantage. He is. Walker comes back with it. What I mean by that is, had Croker come in contact with the ball first, he would have called it back for a scrum. This is the incident. Watch the pass from Stewart. No doubts that it's forward a mile. And then it's towed ahead by Croker. He could have stopped it there, but he let the advantage roll, providing St George came up with it. Elliott now. Priddle, good man to follow. Goldthorpe for Barnhill. Crowd of 5,384. Goldthorpe. Hoppe falling back. It'll go over the dead ball line and come back for the 22 restart. There's the busy little St George halfback. He's been out there all day and he's played a very big part. Walker is playing at full back now. Tony Smith is playing 5/8. Steve Walters. Whenever you see Stewart run a decoy at the dummy half area, Walters is able to pick up good ground. Belcher finds Hoppe, but Hoppe, he's hurt St George once, and they're wetting on him now. Stewart with the long ball. Daly's in receipt of it. Daly gets outside. He's gone away from Smith. Goes inside Goldthorpe. Runs back into the centre, and Smith picks him up.
Oh, yeah, well done, Smith. He kept the chase up and finally got him.
Stewart. Lomax. Back for Stewart. Handball across now for Matthew Wood. Well, he's put the kick in on the last. Or was it the last?
Yes, it was the last. And I think it was a knock on there from Barnhill. That's a big play for Canberra. Beautiful work from Lomax and Stewart keeping the ball alive. Tremendous work from Laurie Daly. Got outside Tony Smith here, had too much pace. But Smith keeps chasing. Look at him keep chasing. Daly comes back to him. And Canberra in the tack.
Now Canberra, they're 3 metres out from the line. And the big fella's about to play the ball. Belcher's the dummy half. Where do we go, says Gary. Give me a call, somebody. 3 metres out from the line. Saints leading by 2. We're in the final quarter. Stewart pops it up onto the chest there of Pongia. Gets it back to Big Fritz. And Fritz, he puts it down. Canberra go back to the lead.
Yes, Canberra back in the match, back in front. They can thank Laurie Daly for that big break, but it was a nice inside ball here. Changed the angle by Stewart. Stewart and Pongia, little change of angle there. That allowed Pongia to get some ground and get his arms free, and Walker couldn't contain Fritz.
Yes, young Nathan Brown got caught out a little bit here in defence. The play goes back inside. If he frees it there, there's Nathan Brown. He was coming across, had to change his mind to come back, and he got caught out in defence as play rolls on. By that time he'd come back, it was too late. Didn't wrap the ball up. And Darren Fritz, too much power, goes through Andrew Walker, plants the ball under the line, on the line.
Well, there he is, Darren Fritz. He's a real giant of a man. Look at Ricky Stewart walking alongside him.
So
Is
really,
it any wonder that Andrew Walker had trouble trying to contain him?
really was a big play on the last there, getting that kick in and Barnhill knocking on.
It was. Just harking back, and I know it's senseless going back, it was a big play by Laurie Daly, but I still feel that he went the wrong way by going back inside. He had 2 men outside him. Here's the kick from right in front from Matthew Wood. It's successful. Canberra leading now by 12 points to 8. And David Furner not on the park. So, in a seesawing quarterfinal, it's up to the Dragons to come back now. Croker started the game at lock. He's back on his wing now, the position that he occupied for the most part last year. Pongia. Osborne, little ball for Fritz, and the big man gallops into space. Mullins is with him. Mullins still going up to the 30. They won't catch him. He's going for the line. Mullins scores a great Canberra try.
Oh, they cut loose the Raiders. Away they go. The green machine is in full action. And let me tell you, and Darren Fritz, he's only been on for the last 5 minutes of this quarter. Haven't seen him for a while, but he's been instrumental in 2 of their tries. A big bust here. Sybil missed tackle by Priddle. 8 on 8, and away goes Fritz. Offloaded just at the right time to Mullins, and Mullins did all the rest. Another bad miss there by Potter, and away goes. Look at the eyes. He knows where he wants to go.
Yeah, it's a case of 2 simple misses, 1-on-1. Priddle's the man here that comes up with the mistake. Darren Fritz says Goldthorpe coming across. Brett Mullins, and this is the other missed tackle. That's all it was, a case of 2 simple misses. Ray Warren said you can never write this team off, and that's exactly right. Another one under the posts. This conversion you would expect to be successful. Last quarter, they'll be hard to peg back from here.
Well, he comes from pretty good stock, this kid, Brett Mullins. His dad, Billy, played for Australia. Great Eastern Suburbs winger, and his uncle, Russell, was a very good Magpie player. This is Matt Wood from right in front. Bangs it over, picks up the 2, and the Canberra Raiders are leading by 18 points to 8.
They can really hurt you from any end of the field. Phil Blake didn't help Priddle there. Phil Blake came in from the outside, and Priddle had to come across to cover. Still, it was a simple miss, as was that one from Potter, even though he was coming across at pace. There's Donnelly in the background. Tim Sheens once again told us the other day that he'd back Brett Mullins against anyone over 50 metres.
Croker. Well, what an amazing change has come over this game. We came out of the quarter, Canberra behind by 2, and have a look at it now.
Has been a turnaround. Saints were looking good in that 3rd quarter, and they got to an 8-6 lead with some good football. Canberra weren't doing much. Stewart, and he makes a bust, but Brown rings him down, but Canberra have cut loose.
I don't know that it's over yet either. Osborne.
Get on with me, Ray. You can get on with me.
You're prepared to bet evens there'll be no more points scored by the Raiders?
Well, I think that Canberra have got enough experience out there to close this game down. It's a good kick there. They'll waste time as much as possible.
Well, you surprised me. I thought when they were flying as high as this that they would go for more. However, you cannot be gambling in a public place, as you know, so we mustn't do that. Scrum won by St George. Smith held on the 20-metre line. This is Walford. Well, you put Clyde, Fatty Vorton come in on this one. You put Clyde back in here. They're going to be more powerful than they were last year.
They are, and I think they make the 5, no doubt about that. You've got players like Laurie Daly. Laurie's played OK today. He's done a couple of good things. He's still rusty, no doubt about that. He hardly played any football whatsoever last year. He's still finding his way. He might not hit his peak till 3 or 4 games into the first round of the actual competition.
Bad mistake there from Brad Mackay.
Shocking.
Really, Paul, on paper, Canberra behind the Brisbane team have the classiest personnel, don't they?
They definitely have, but, Mel, is there a question mark over Mel, Pete? He hasn't done much in the last 2 games, has he? Been a little bit quiet. Maybe it's the pre-season heat.
Well, I wonder if Tim Sheens has ever contemplated throwing him into the forwards every now and then just to increase the involvement.
Just to freshen him up.
Well, his involvement hasn't been good over these 2 games. I don't think there's any doubt about that, and I think he would admit it. So maybe, when it's forced upon you, when you've got to be in there carting the ball up fairly regularly, that might be the way to go.
Let's watch this now. Stewart throws that long, magnificent pass. Daly shorter for Belcher. Run around by Daly. Infield run by Mullins. Up to the 20-metre line. And they lead 18-8, and I still think they got the sniff of another one in the nostrils right now. Corvo on the 5th. Brought down 10 metres out from the line. Stewart, he wants it to the right. Shaped a kick, turned it blindside. Daly pops it in to the in-goal area, and Walford is there to bring it back. Saints very slow now to regroup. It's been an energy-sapping day. High temperatures at Nambucca, and the 4 clubs that have gone round have done magnificently well for quite a good crowd that has turned up to see them, but oppressive conditions in the earlier part. Goulet, 18-8. Canberra putting 2 tries together, both converted in this final quarter. 5 gone. They're only out to their 30-metre line as young Brown gets in a kick. Hoppe is going back urgently. Will he make it in time? He does. Does a little bit of a tightrope walk down the sideline. Comes out to be met by Mackay. And the kicker, Brown. Well, Brown has taken the ball off him. And Hoppe is injured. Tierney, he is about 15 metres out, but now McCallum finds a forward pass from Tierney to Mackay.
The ball's actually come out, and it's surprising this year. This is a good tackle on Brad Mackay. Out pops the ball, Nathan Brown cleans up there. The ball was actually stripped by a Canberra hand in the next play. As Tierney takes it up, it was stripped by the Canberra player. And St George half appealing for the penalty, but it wasn't forthcoming.
David Furner back on the field now for the Canberra side. 25 out from their own line. Beef for Fritz. Fritz, he's been an absolute colossus since he came on. Now Matthew Wood, he kicks ahead and he finds touch with a kick that he wanted to go the other way. 15 metres out, the scrum will go down.
Yeah, once again, Darren Fritz, a beautiful play by him. He bumped a couple off, then offloaded the great pass. He did well too, Croker. Put Wood in some space. I quite often wonder about this option of the kick. He had plenty of room to move there, Wood, with support inside.
Coyne. Coyne playing at 5/8 for that scrum. Walford using Barnhill. He's played strong, David Barnhill, today, but nowhere near as strongly as he did. And you've got to say the same for Tierney on Wednesday at Newcastle, which comes back to Brian Smith being mildly critical of the fact that the players had to back up so quickly.
I do think the opposition's been a bit stronger tonight too, Ray. St George had a fairly saloon passage against Eastern Suburbs. They've had a harder task out there against this Canberra team.
Well, absolutely, and added to that previous comment as Tierney puts it down, Canberra have had exactly the same amount of recuperative time. So, I mean, it's as fair to one as it is to the other, but some of the notable forward stars from Wednesday haven't been as strong today.
Yeah, I thought Scott Goulet was about their best today. He came up with some big hits in the first half and ran the ball strongly all the second half. He's on the bench now having a rest, but he can hold his head up high.
Bradley. The referee has found a high shot here, or something similar.
Yeah, Darren Fritz, a bit of a swinging arm, I think, on Graham Bradley, who was bringing the ball up. Nothing too much. It'll be a penalty. We see Bradley coming in, Fritz going high, the swinging arm.
Well, it's, you know, it's hard, I don't know about a swing. It's hard not to do tackles like that. Bradley's going down. You know, Fritz is 9'9". How is it not going to be, you know, up around that area? And there was no malice in it.
Tierney.
St George would love to get another try on the board. They're desperate. They've really found it hard to crack the Canberra defence and make many clean breaks today. Scored a couple of tries from the 22-metre zone, but haven't made a clean break for a long time.
Priddle.
How does it go, Rex? Priddle.
St George.
It's a tough school.
Would you leave me alone, please? Brown, Blake, this is Hardy. And hopefully it'll go to Priddle again.
Horse shopping.
Now Blake. Blake with the chip and chase, but Mullins reads nicely. And McCallum orders them back to the 22. Sometimes I watch referees applying the rule on this ball that's caught in the in goal. If you watch that play just then, Mullins was in full gallop and he was quite happy to bring the ball back into play. Here's the chip and chase. The point I'm making is that what if the left-hand side of the ground had been open? If you rolled that on, you would have seen Mullins in full gallop and ready to attack them.
That's right. You can see whether the player wants to play on, and there was a premature blowing of the whistle there. I thought that, you know, Mullins was quite happy to come and link up with some support players.
Wood now kicks ahead. Potter goes back to the 20. There's not a great big chase on from Canberra, and Wood has to lead the procession.
Been some good performance today for Canberra. Gary Belks has been safe at the back. If nothing else, he's been getting involved when he can. Brett Mullins, it's some great work by him. And in the forwards, you know, blokes like Ferner and Steve Wallace, Darren Fritz all did their job, and John Lomax was very good the time he was on there.
But they really have got their thrust off their halves, haven't they?
Well, Stewart's done a good job out there. He's directed play, but just going back to Lomax, I thought early on, some big defence and a couple of key plays he came up with just to set the trend for the Raiders.
Blake. Put down by Croker. Tony Smith tries to run around them on a very narrow side of the ground, but wrapped up. Goldthorpe. Tierney. St George now, they are a little bit befuddled as to which way to go. Tierney taking the only option, and a good kick by the big fella too, finding the line 10 metres out from Canberra's.
The thing about it wasn't the only option. St George had 2 on 1 out wide, and Tierney didn't even look. I know he's a front row. I know he's probably getting tired, and he probably thought it was the best option, but they've got to have a look around.
And they need to score points. We go into a scrum situation now, which just winds the clock down. So really the advantage from that went to Canberra.
I make it just outside the minute to go. So our semi-finals. Wests, Souths, Illawarra and Canberra. And the people of Albury will see the West-South game. The people of Bega will see the Illawarra-Canberra game. That is going to be a ripper. Belcher. Thulavai. Apologies for the pronunciation if it's wrong. Good cutting run there by Jason Dean. Stewart. Wood. Croker. Not much go ahead there because they were far too flat. Stewart. Ferner. There's the siren, it's over. The fourth quarter final has been won by Canberra, defeating St George by 18 points to 8.